What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another video.
In this video, I'll be giving my review of the Post-Enies Lobby Arc in the Water 7 Saga in One Piece. But before we get into the video,
please be sure to subscribe to the channel, as well as hit that notification bell to get notified for more content that I put out. As well, if you end up enjoying this video, be sure to hit us with a like and leave a comment and let us know your thoughts on the Post-Enies Lobby Arc. So, without any further ado, let's just get into it, y'all. Okay, cool. Here we are. We are in the Post-Enies Lobby Arc. A lot of things happen here. Short arc, but a lot of things happen here. So, off the bat, what are your feelings about this arc?
I loved this arc. I did. It was some great setup. It was some great resolution. End of the climax that we just experienced. And some great setup for what's about to come, I think.
Yeah. So, what were your thoughts about returning to Water 7? Did you think we'd be coming back to Water 7?
Yes. I did think we had to find our way back there because I felt like we were going to see Iceberg again. And also Franky and his family had to get back there. So I'm glad we came back. But a lot happened within the first few episodes coming back. So it opened with Water 7 just got hit by the Aqua Laguna storm. So we get back to Water 7 and we see the Galila marching into the town to go help the people rebuild the city. So that was pretty cool. And you got to see the amount of respect and admiration that the people have for the Galila. The townspeople were begging to apologize to the Straw Hats for wrongly accusing them of assassinating Iceberg. Another little clip in the very beginning was Usopp was chatting with the Giants, because the Giants also made their way back to Water 7. And they were also helping the townspeople. And in this moment, the Giants offered Usopp to stay with them, because Usopp still isn't back on board with the Straw Hats. So they were like, yeah, we're going to stay in Water 7 for a little while before we make our way back to Elbaf.
Elbaf.
Did I say that right?
Elbaf.
So they were like, yeah, come tag along. And Usopp was like, you could tell he wasn't with it. And then there was a funny scene when they were back in some type of like cabin situation, some type of where they were staying, where they were lodging. Sanji was chefing it up, just getting everyone's energy back. We see Luffy seemingly eating. But it turns out that Luffy was sleep eating. He's acquired this new skill where he...
skill unlocked.
Yeah, he sleeps while he's eating because he doesn't want to waste any energy, basically. And then it pans over to Nami, who's crying in the corner because she thinks that they lost pretty much everything from the Gomeri, including the mandarin orange trees from Balmer, all of the money, because they had 100 million berries left.
Yeah.
They thought they lost everything, but then some of the townspeople come in and they're like, hey, sorry, but we confiscated this and gave everything back, and Nami was so happy. And then Franky barges in with Square Girls and says hey, a shipment just came in of mine. Basically, that 200 million berries that I stole?
Yeah.
Well, I used it to buy this really fancy wood. It's called the treasure tree wood, or the Adam wood or something, from this island. And sometimes it goes on the black market. So Franky got his hands on it with the Straw Hats' money. And was like, I'm going to build... Well, he was like, I promised myself I wasn't going to build ships anymore, but I want to be like Tom, so I'm going to build one last ship, and it's going to be the best ship, because basically this wood is kind of untouchable.
Yeah.
And he was like, will you ride my ship? And then Luffy was sleeping through this, but Nami and Sanji was in the room, and Chopper. They're like, yeah! Was Nika Robin there? I forget who exactly was there. Oh, not all of the Straw Hats were there. Zoro wasn't there.
Yeah.
So they were excited about that.
Your boy Zoro.
So that was the very, like, opening, I would say, of it. All of those kind of big events happened. We found out Franky's going to build a new ship. The Galilas helping out the townspeople. The Giants are back to Water 7. Usopp is in a predicament of whether he's going to stay with the Giants in Water 7 or possibly go back with the Straw Hats. Yeah. That's really where we start. It was a good intro.
Yeah. It was a good little seldom kind of getting to see everybody interact with each other because you just had all this chaos before. Now it's like, all right, we're chilling now. Mm-hmm. We're chilling, like a little breather.
Yeah.
So, with all this calmness going on, turns out the Marines have showed up for the Straw Hats.
Yeah, so Zoro wants to announce it. Zoro's trying to make his way to where they're lodging, and he just keeps going the wrong direction, which is an amazing comedic break. He keeps going back to the same exact spot in front of the ocean. He ends up being too late, and the Marines ended up being Vice Admiral GARP, who is Luffy's grandpa. Which was shocking and exciting, but more shocking than exciting because this Vice Admiral also fought Goldie Roger several times.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so that's exciting. So during this moment, I was like, these connections are unreal. And then everything is starting to come kind of like full circle, basically. So, but then I also kind of felt for Luffy a little bit because we learned that he was basically abused as a child by his grandpa.
It was love.
That's not love.
It was the love fist GARP.
No, that's probably why Luffy just, like, projects all his feelings and, like, I don't know. That's why he's kind of, like, he doesn't fully get hurt because he was punched his whole life. But, yeah, that's how we find out. And we find out that Garp really wanted Luffy to be a Marine, and things turned differently.
That didn't go the way he wanted it to.
Yes.
But then, we get even more revelations about a revolution. Ooh, see what I did there?
A revolutionary.
So, Monkey D. Dragon.
Yeah, this was cool, too. So, Garp is sharing too much information because that's what people with trauma do. They're oversharers. And he basically admits that Luffy's father is Monkey D. Dragon. And he's like, yeah, and you've met him before. And then we get a flashback to Logtown.
Yeah.
And Monkey D. Dragon was that random person we didn't really know.
You had no idea.
Who basically saved Luffy from Smoker. Smoker, right, yeah.
It was, and then Buggy was trying to chop his head off. Lightning.
Well, Dragon came after that, I think. But
no, Dragon's the one who did that.
Dragon's the one that shot the lightning?
Wait, am I supposed to tell you that?
I don't think you were supposed to tell me that.
Nah, I think this fine.
But that was kind of a theory that I sort of had, was that somebody did that lightning. But no, it didn't show that Dragon did that. I just rewatched it.
Yeah, you're supposed to, I guess, kind of connect that Dragon was responsible for that, but you don't know how. Because, like,
literally full circle. This is so cool.
It's not like it's a lightning fruit because you already know who has that. So it's up in the air.
Pretty cool. So basically,
if I wasn't supposed to tell her that, please don't kill me in the comments. My bad. Maybe I did a spoiler, so I apologize.
Well, it could be people's theories. I had a theory. I didn't know it was him specifically, but I had a theory that somebody helped Luffy out. It wasn't just luck. Yeah. But so Dragon. We learned that there's different types of people in this world. There are the Marines who work for the government. There are pirates who are kind of against the government, but they'll never initiate a fight against the government unless if you're Luffy and the Straw Hats. And then there are the revolutionaries, and the revolutionaries are the people that basically pick fights with the government because they are against the government. Yeah. Revolution. So Dragon is actually the head of the revolutionaries, and they don't know any information about him, but now the group of people, which could be bad, the group of people that Garp just talked to, they all know that he has a son, Luffy, and a father, Garp. So we now know some information about Dragon, and now all those people know some information about him. Yeah. And it was funny because Luffy was trying to wrap his head around like how serious Dragon was, and Nico Robin had to explain it to him. She was just like, hey, like,
big deal.
Big deal. Revolutionary, goes against the government, and And kind of Luffy's following in his footsteps, if you know what I mean.
What do you think about the concept that there's a revolutionary, like, army in this world?
I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I like that it's Luffy's dad, because, again, Luffy just also went against the government at Enies Lobby, so.
Connections.
Yeah.
So, speaking of some more Marines, we get some old people that you did not recognize at all.
Thank goodness for these flashbacks, because I didn't recognize them.
I mean, they don't even look the same, right? I forgot when it happened to me. I was just like, "Who are these dudes again?" I was like, "No way!" So, the glow up of Koby and Helmeppo.
Yeah. So Oda did it again. He made sure that everyone we meet is basically intentional. Because in the very beginning of One Piece, in the very beginning of this story, these two characters seemed very irrelevant. I had no idea that we were going to see them again. Koby, like, maybe I thought we were going to see him again, but not really. I just thought he was a side character to show Luffy's true character.
Yeah.
But they were very intentional, and I think they're going to play a huge part in the future because of some things that they said.
Do you think at this moment kind of like made you really sit there like, oh, he really will bring back anybody, like from before?
Yeah, I do. Everything and everyone is intentional in Oda's world, which is what makes the world building so spectacular.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of excited to see how they further glow up, because they keep saying that they're going to become stronger. Koby's goal is to become a vice admiral. A big part of this, well, they fought, obviously Zoro and Luffy defeated them pretty quickly, and Garp was like, haha, you stand no chance against those two boys, meaning Luffy and Zoro. But an important part was a little bit after this, when Luffy was supposedly having a private chat with both of them, Koby and Helmeppo, but Nami was eavesdropping and spying, and she found out some important information that I think is going to play a huge role in the future arcs to come.
Yeah.
So one of them is they basically spilled the beans about how the government gets into the Grand Line so easily. Basically, they put the sea prism stones at the bottom of their ships so that the sea monsters can't see the ships, basically, because the sea prism stones puts out the same energy as the sea, so the monsters don't see them. So I think Nami is going to use that information in the future if they're ever passing through sea monsters. I don't know how she's going to get her hand on sea prism stones, but I think that's an important piece of information that Nami's going to hold with her.
Yeah.
We also learn about Dr. Vegapunk, who is the marine scientist, and Nami was like, wow, he's smart. So he's the reason why they found out that sea prism stone thing, and there's some other information that they shared, but I forgot about him. But he's basically super, super smart.
Yeah.
And something else that they said was, past the red line, there is the new world. And only the pirates who are going to be on track to become the Pirate King can travel those seas. And so Koby was like, I'm going to see you in the new world, and we're going to fight Luffy. Yeah. And you know what Luffy does? He's like, yeah, that's right. I love that dream for you. I'll see you there.
I love that for you.
I love that for you. He doesn't put him down. He doesn't become arrogant at all. He's just like, yeah, snaps to you. You got that. Yeah. So that's exciting to know what's going to come. One
interesting thing with Vegapunk, so I don't know if you were confused, but he's the one responsible for the whole sword eating the fruit thing with the elephant sword.
Yeah, that's the information that they said. They said that he's the reason why, inanimate objects can also eat, quote unquote, devil fruit. Yeah. Yes, thank you.
There you go. See. So, one last little marine detail we got is Aokiji shows back up after letting a Buster Call happen and spanning hands.
I loved this scene. It was after Garp left the first time. And Sanji's chefing it up. It's right after Nami was eavesdropping. Yeah, the Marines left. And everyone's eating. And then it turns into this giant party. Soga King is singing up there on the big pedestal. And then Nico Robin kind of like wanders off a little bit. And Aokiji's just like, hey, Let me talk to you, basically. And this is where my wheel started turning because I was like, why is he protecting her so much? So basically he was saying, there was a little bit of information. He was saying Sal was one of his really good friends. And Sal's last wish was to protect Nico Robin, like let her get off this island. And Aokiji basically said, I was unsure about it because you seemed like you had no home. You were just going to keep causing trouble. He also asked, why didn't you betray the Straw Hats? Why didn't you leave them when you could have just left on your own? You could have easily defeated your capturers, CP9, and just been on your way. And she was basically saying, like, I found my home, so I wasn't going to leave them. And then he seemed content. He was like, you found your home? And she was like, yep, I found my home. This is where I belong. And then he was like, I bet, deuces. And just left.
It's powerful moments here, bro.
Yeah.
They be hitting you, like, because it really, you kind of go, like, when you first meet Nico Robin and her joining us, you're, like, still on the fence about her for so long, but, like, all of this happened, and you're like, oh, nah, these really are, like, this is her family now.
Yeah, I also I had a new respect for Aokiji in this moment, too, because I think he is one of the better Marines. If he's in, like, a weird spot where he's truly trying to fight for justice, but we already know that the government is really effed up. So a part of me thinks he's going to play an important role in keeping, what's the island? Ohana? Almost like Ohana. Ohara, thank you. Ohana? Keeping Ohara and the memory of Ohara alive because he's keeping Nico Robin alive. So I think he's going to play a part in, like, finding out that history. I don't know how, but yeah, I like him a lot now.
I want to laugh about your Marine situation because this is me referencing, because you already know I've been playing the One Piece card game a lot lately, and my boy Andrew, and my reaction when he said it to you, he doesn't watch One Piece, but he's playing. But he's deciding to run this Navy deck, this black card Navy deck, smoker deck. And when he told you, your reaction was just like,
why do you have a Marine deck?
he has no bias because he doesn't watch the show. But it's just, you were just like, you sure, bro?
I understand that they end up being powerful, but
This is what it is. So from here, we get Shanks and WhiteBeard, which, honestly, us probably watching that episode of East Blue thing yesterday probably really, really hit you different after seeing the Post-Enies Lobby here. So
yeah, I like I'm starting to go back into random times now, and we put on just like a recap thing.
The episode of East Blue thing, yeah.
And I'm happy we did because just things started popping out. So where do we even begin with this? So Shanks and WhiteBeard. I didn't realize how giant WhiteBeard was until this scene. He's huge. But the first thing I thought of, like, is WhiteBeard sick because it seemed that he had oxygen.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. But he's so powerful. And then Shanks has this weird power where he passed all these people and they all knocked out, basically. But then, in this episode that we got the little flashback of, if we remember, when Shanks originally saved Luffy from the sea monster, he basically told the sea monster, stop it. Like, no, not today. And
not today.
The sea monster ran off, or swam off, and he used that same power back then. So what is this power? I'm very curious. I want to know more, and this is a really cool power.
Well, they name it.
Oh, what is it?
They name it Hockey.
Hockey.
Yeah.
Does it have to do? No, it doesn't. No, it's really cool.
Yeah.
So hockey, where does this come from?
Yeah.
That's my question. It's not a devil fruit, so it must be a type of skill learned just like mantra, maybe, just like the Rokushiki. There's all these skills that people learn. It's very cool. And we also learn in this. Oh no! Sorry, I want to throw back a little bit. Throw back. I don't know. Bring it back a little bit when GARP was talking about Shanks. We learned that Shanks is one of the 4 emperors. The 4 emperors are Blackbeard, WhiteBeard, Shanks.
Are you sure about that?
Who's the 4th?
Blackbeard's not a 4 emperor.
Okay, sorry. WhiteBeard, Shanks.
They don't tell you the other 2.
WhiteBeard and Shanks are 2 of the 4 emperors. Okay, Blackbeard is not one. Okay. My bad. We learned that Shanks is one of the 4 emperors, and the 4 emperors are basically like the untouchables. So the Marines and them have kind of like an allyship
Yeah.
Is that what the word is? Where they're not. It keeps the peace, basically.
No beef.
Yeah, so they're in the red line, right? All of them?
Who, the Marines? Or
No.
the
Emperors.
They're in the New World.
Oh, they're in the New World, sorry.
Yeah.
Past the red line that we learned. Cool.
Yeah, but then here we also... This is, I think, you're thinking about Blackbeard because they're talking about Ace and Blackbeard here.
Yeah, I want to know who the other two emperors are. Emperors. Yeah, they start talking. So basically, Shanks visits WhiteBeard to ask him, please don't let Ace and Blackbeard fight.
Yeah.
And at first you're like, why? And then, I don't know if I missed some details, but they started randomly fighting. The conversation just got really heated.
She's like, and then it escalated very quickly.
They just got like really like masculated.
Open up the sky. And
yeah,
all that.
and then the sky started dividing, and I was like, so this is what happens when the two emperors fight, I guess. So that was interesting. I don't know if I missed important details, but I was just like, how did that escalate so quickly? But we then find out why later on. We find out why Shanks asked WhiteBeard that, because we kind of see Blackbeard's power
Later on.
Yeah.
We'll get to that, though. We'll get to that. Overall, basically, like, Shanks... Blackbeard didn't like Shanks basically telling him what to do with his crew and all that, so... It's just like, nah, man. You a young bud. Like, I'm an old head.
Yeah. And the reason why Ace and WhiteBeard are kind of adamant about kind of fighting Blackbeard is because Blackbeard killed one of the crew members.
Yep.
Which is a big no-no in the pirate world.
Shiesty boy.
Yeah, no. And it was over. We'll find that. We'll talk about that later. Because, that's the last episode of it.
She's like, things actually get dramatic.
Yeah, we found out why
he
killed him. Yeah.
It's messy.
Messy.
So, let's cut to some big news. Some big news. Ooh. We got some new Straw Hat bounties. Mm-hmm. So, let's list them out. Give us your thoughts on each one.
All right, we have Monkey D. Luffy, 300 million berries. Which is funny how that number comes back, because that's how much money they got from Skypiea. We have the Pirate Hunter Zoro, 120 million berries.
You think that's too high or too low?
Probably too low. It should be closer to Luffy, I think. It's like less than half. We have Nami, who's the cat burglar, 16 million. We have Nico Robin, Demon Child, 80 million. We have Chopper with a whole 50. Wow.
They did him grindy. They did. Like, he didn't, he'd bring down a whole building, by himself.
Yeah. I'm going to skip this one for now because I have more to say on that. We have Soge King, because they don't know Usopp, which is probably important.
Because it's two different people.
Oh my god. Who is 30 million. And then the last one that is funny, but I'm interested to know exactly why Oda did this, because we know everything's intentional and I want to know why he did this. But Sanji, who's known as Blackleg, it's not his actual picture, it's just this funny drawing of him that kind of looks like him, because back home they were able to recognize him, but I want to know why.
Yeah.
I think it's going to play an important part later on.
It could just be that Sanji's just that sneaky.
Which is good, because he's that character. He needs to be that sneaky to do the undercover stuff, like when he was Prince and when he snuck on the sea train. So maybe it's good that they don't have his actual picture. But I want to know if it does play a bigger role. But he has 77 million. Yeah, but they don't know the amount of stuff that Sanji has done, so I feel like technically his should be a bit higher too. His should at least kind of match Nico Robin, maybe. Or maybe higher than Nico Robin. I don't know, Nico Robin played her part back in the day, so. Yeah.
Word.
But it was fun to kind of, as these bounties were coming out, well, after they came out, they gave little...
recaps of the rest of the world.
Yeah, they went to each of the island that they originated from and showed how their families and their friends reacted to the bounties, and they were all really happy. So
dope. So then we get a new ship.
Yeah, Thousand Sunny. It's really cool. I love the outside so far. I was a little confused by the lion-looking thing, but then it made sense when they started explaining it and why they called it the Thousand Sunny. I want to get a full tour of this ship, though. Yeah. Like, I want... Walk into the entrance and show me every part. I want to see the fish tank. I want a full tour, and I hope I get that.
Yeah.
Okay, like an MTV Crib type tour. Because, like, the way Franky was talking this up, I want to see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's no going merry, right?
Yeah, but it's bigger.
So, you were on edge because somehow, some way you've been trying to, like, do your best to, like, scope out my figures around to try to get clues.
So this guy has tons of figures in this room, in the living room. They're everywhere.
But you start trying to cheat though. You try to look at the figures and
but the only figures he are the main 5. And so I really wanted Franky to join the Straw Hats. I think at the end of Enies Lobby. Like, really badly. And so I kept on trying to ask him, like, is he joining? Is he joining? And I was looking at figures, or he's not here. So I was like, maybe he's not.
You was like, tell me. I'm like...
I really wanted him to. And then, so basically, Franky wanted to. He did. But he felt like he couldn't leave his family. But his family wanted him because they know what's best for Franky. Iceberg wanted him to because they know what's best for Franky. However, Franky was like, I'm staying with my fam. Even though deep down, we know he wanted to go with the Straw Hats. Yeah. But he didn't even go say bye to the Straw Hats when they were parting, when the big ship was revealed. So then Iceberg was like, hey, you should force him to come. And that's exactly what they did. So they stole his swim trunks. And Franky's family was in on it. It was teaming up with the Straw Hats. And they ran through the town. Franky was chasing them, unfazed by the fact that he was totally bottomless. Everything was
positivity.
Out. Body positivity, gotta love that. If only it was the same for women. Polly didn't even like seeing Nami in a bathing suit, so... Meanwhile, Franky just walks around in swim trunks and an open... Whatever. We'll get into that. So it was running around the towns. People were like, oh, golly! They... pass it off to the Straw Hats after a while.
Which is kind of gross.
It was very gross, but it was so fun. And then we get to the front of the ship. Nico Robin is the real reason why he joins. He just grabs on only once. But this is when you see that he actually does want to join because he acts like he's in pain the whole time when she only grabbed onto his bodily parts once. Yeah. Yeah, I was so happy when he joined though. Very happy. I think he's a great Straw Hat. So,
we have one more person who needs to join the crew, though.
Usopp.
Your boy Usopp.
Yeah, so, let's bring it back to the conversation Zoro has with them. So this is where Zoro really shows his, kind of his true colors about what it means to be a pirate and how serious, I think, Nakama is, he says in this moment. He's basically saying, like, yo, if Usopp wants to come back, he needs to start with an apology. If he doesn't start with an apology and Luffy, you just take him on, I don't know if I can be a part of this crew anymore because I need someone who takes this seriously, basically. Yeah. And then they all agreed, and the person that made me happy that he agreed was Sanji. Sanji was like, Zoro's right.
Yeah, because Usopp was trying to finesse. He wasn't really trying to, like, apologize.
Yeah, Usopp was rehearsing all these ways to get back into the Straw Hats, and not one of them had an apology. Yeah. So then, the Marines come back. Garp and the Marines were chasing Luffy and the Straw Hats. Yeah. After Franky joined, they were on their way. Usopp was running to try to catch up, still kind of rehearsing on his way there how he's going to join back, saying like, yeah, sure, I'll be your captain, you know, Usopp. Yeah.
And what was funny with the GARP situation with them coming back is because the heads of Navy headquarters found out, and they was like, what do you mean you just let him go? You better go back and get him. So he's like, guess we gotta go back and get you.
And we find out GARP's true power, actually.
Different.
Yeah, so I guess we'll start with that because that happened a little bit before technically Usopp came back. Yeah. But GARP comes back because the headquarters say so, basically. And I kind of loved this part because we got to see Garp's true power, and he was not really caring, because I think deep down he knew that Luffy would get away. He knows how powerful his grandson is. And Garp was so strong he could just take a cannon and throw it, like, one after the other, giant ones, and like very fast paced, but it was kind of nothing for the Straw Hats. They're used to that. But once they do get away, he seemed so proud of them. So that's why I love their relationship and their dynamics. He's like, yep, that's my grandson. But then, hey, you got away from me type thing.
Yeah.
So Usopp was standing on the side while they were getting away from the Marines, and they had to get away pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And Usopp was like, just saying like, yeah, I'll come back, don't worry. But he kept on going around the apology. He would not apologize. But this whole time, Luffy and Zoro, like, well, Chopper and I think, Nami were like, do you hear him? Do you hear him? And Zoro and Luffy were like, no, we don't hear him.
Yeah.
And that's because they remembered Zoro said, if he doesn't start with an apology, then you can't take him back. So they were intentionally ignoring him so that they didn't go against their word, because they knew he was eventually going to apologize. And then as soon as he starts apologizing, Zoro and Luffy were like, oh, did you hear that? And then they get him back on. So, yeah.
How does this crew make you feel?
How do they make me feel?
Yeah.
Can you not tell?
Huh?
Can you not tell? I don't know if there's also one feeling.
Yeah.
There's not one feeling.
Yeah. I mean, you feel like connected to all of them, like, it's kind of crazy. Because,
Yeah.
like, it's so many of them, and you would
Usopp,
think that
I will say, Usopp needs to redeem himself. I know there are so many Usopp fans out there, and I can't wait to find out why. Because right now, it's not it.
Not it, chief.
I know he's going to do something great. Yeah. But just like how Nico Robin redeems herself, now Nico Robin is one of my favorites. Yeah. Usopp needs to redeem himself, and I'm waiting for that moment because he is just driving me crazy.
So boom, this part of the arc ends. We get the ship does this ability that Franky built into it. They burst away. They fly away basically. But then we hit the finale of the Post-Enies Lobby Arc. Something you probably wasn't even expecting to see.
It was so random to me. But it wasn't random because
they just
ties back Shanks and WhiteBeard. So Ace shows up on this island where Blackbeard and some of his crew are. Is that all of his crew or some of it?
That's all of his crew.
It's pretty small, but he doesn't need a big crew, to be honest. And he's basically taking over this hopeless little village. And this is also another thing that kind of escalates, but Ace is like, hey,
you know I'm here.
You know I'm here, you killed so-and-so, and we find out why he killed him, and it's because he wanted this specific devil fruit, and this devil fruit is the devil, basically. It's darkness. So Ace kind of, they fight a little bit, but this is before he reveals his devil fruit, and first Blackbeard is like, you're powerful, Ace, come aboard, like, come on my crew, and Ace is like, no, F that, never. And then they get into a crazy fight. Basically, Blackbeard's power is darkness. So darkness. He turns everything to darkness. He took over the entire village. The black smoke, darkness, basically filled up the whole village, sucked it all in, and then spit it back out, and it was just chaos. Yeah. So that's what he does. And then so they fight, and I think Ace went into the darkness at the very end. He just disappeared. They did this, like, they had this, like, kind of big kind of final clash, which you should see, like, the big ball of fire and a big ball of darkness. Yeah. So we don't know what happens. Yeah. It was, I'm a little bit on edge because that's a lot. That's going to be a lot for the Straw Hats. I know they're going to find out some scientific way to maybe defeat that. I don't know when. I don't know if it's going to be far down the line. But basically, another thing was, I forgot in this moment that Blackbeard was chasing the Straw Hats when they were going up to Skypiea. Because the Blackbeard says to Ace, oh, why don't you just join me? I'm about to go after this dude, Monkey D. Luffy. Yeah, so Ace is like, that's my brother. And then you really effed up now? So I think Ace wants to go warn Luffy and the Straw Hats, especially after this. So I'm on edge to see if he warns them before it's too late, or did he get sucked into the darkness? What is the darkness? Where is the darkness? Why is the darkness? So yeah, it's interesting.
And that's it.
And that's how it ended. And I haven't watched the next arc. It's been 2 weeks because I wanted to do. I don't even know the name of it. Yeah. I wanted to do this video first so that my brain could stay right here in the present.
You've been having withdrawal.
A little bit. That's why I keep watching old episodes.
You're just like, wow. I was like, you like one episode? No.
Yeah.
All right.
I've been watching filler episodes. Those are fun.
So, if you have to give this arc a rating out of 10, what would you give it?
Probably a 9.
9? Solid.
I almost want to bring it up to close. Maybe like 9.5.
9.5?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It was fun. It gave us a lot of important information. We saw Oda's full circle of what goes around comes around. Everything has an intention, basically, in this world. There's no unintentional characters. So, yeah, it's a really good 9.5. And it sets us up, huge cliffhanger, sets us up for what's about to come. Yeah. Which I have no idea what's coming. Well, I have some.
I mean, it feels like now you're officially here as a One Piece fan. You kind of reached a point where there's really no going back. And you seem to be all in now. You even got the Zoro cosplay coming soon.
I'm gonna cosplay as Zoro.
So, what do you think the next arc is about? You don't know the name of it. What you think is about to happen?
Mermaids. Mermaids. That's gonna happen. But they kind of hint at. I forgot where this conversation was. With what's her name? Mermaid.
Kokoro. Yeah.
Thank you, Kokoro. She mentions. So that's the next place they're going, but mentions like on your way there or something like that. There's a dangerous place, the Florian Triangle, and the first thing I thought of, the Bermuda Triangle, because of all those myths of the Bermuda Triangle in our world. So I'm wondering if they're going through there and what it's like. I'm hoping somewhere along the way they bump into Ace, or possibly have to save Ace from some type of darkness. I don't know. Maybe that's on the way. Maybe that is the Florian Triangle. I don't know.
We'll see. All I can tell you, I can only tell you this about the arc. Nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
Do they get to see mermaids?
Nothing happens.
I think that's like a secret code or message or something that all the other One Piece people are going to be like, but...
So yeah, that's it. That's it for this video. We gave you your final thoughts. You already gave you what you think is coming up next, and I'm excited to see what you think about this next arc. Excited to see. We will end this video here, but before we end this video, if you have not already, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, as well as hit that notification bell to get notified for more content that I put out. As well, if you've never enjoyed this video, be sure to hit us with a like and leave a comment, and let us know your thoughts on the Post-Enies Lobby Arc in One Piece. So, on that note, y'all.
Enjoy your life.
I'm feeling great and feel the vibe. I'm really grateful we alive. And I'm feeling great cause lately I've been on the way to something great. And I feel alive cause I create like every day and I'm on today.